So like I mentioned before, we are going to split our application between two different computers. The server application or the server code which we are going to put it into a different computer. And the client is going to be in a different computer. In fact, both of them going to be inside two virtual machines, virtual computers, running in VirtualBox. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't make any difference. It is as good as two different physical machines from our discussion perspective. Now, let's explore our setup first, and then we will get into the details later. Before we start, I have to explain the setup I'm having to do this demo. Especially if you're doing this demo by yourself, you will need this. So this is the laptop from which I'm doing this particular presentation. So that's what I'm drawing right now, the laptop which I'm doing the presentation from. You are seeing the screen of this laptop as of now. The laptop, just like any other laptop, it has a Wi-Fi interface, which is Intel, like we have seen, it's an Intel device. Now my client is running inside this laptop. This is our client, our Python client. There is hardly any modification to the program. There is one single modification. We will talk about it. Other than that, the client doesn't have any other modification. Now for the server, the second computer, we are going to introduce here. We have a VirtualBox running, VirtualBox inside this laptop. So this is VirtualBox. So if you don't know what is VirtualBox or how to create a VM using VirtualBox, please refer to my previous computer science fundamentals training. It is explained in that particular training. Now inside that virtual machine, I have another Windows operating system, just like this one. It is a Windows 10 operating system. The name of that machine is Bob, and the server is running inside that. So this is a Windows 10, Win 10, and there is a process, server process running with the Python. So this is a PY server, and our client is going to connect to that server. That's what we are going to do. And this particular Win 10 system has a NIC, just like this Wi-Fi router, and that NIC is configured in a bridge mode. And technically speaking, both this laptop, this Wi-Fi, as well as this particular NIC card is connected to an outside Wi-Fi router I'm having, like so. And it is getting the IP address from this particular router. If this particular setup is looking complicated to you, or if it is looking too strange to you, what I recommend is you have a Wi-Fi router just like any other home has, and use two laptops, one as a server and another as a client. Now in my case, I'm using this router in a special way, or this router is slightly special in my case. Normally the Wi-Fi routers doesn't work in this configuration. Because of that, I have used an iPhone in hotspot, and the iPhone is configured as in compatibility mode. So like I said, if you find this complicated, feel free to get one more laptop and connect that laptop to the same Wi-Fi router, and you should be able to do this demo. But you are always welcome to enjoy the show, and you can skip the demo doing by yourself for a later period of time once you gain a little bit more knowledge. Now let's see all these things in real. So this is our client running right here in the system. This is my laptop you're seeing. It is a Windows 11 system. And one of the changes I have made to the client is the IP address, because we are not connecting to the same system anymore. We are connecting to a different server. The client is going to connect to a remote server. That's why we have changed the IP address. This is the IP address of the server. We'll explain more about IP address. Now, this is my VirtualBox running here, and the VirtualBox is having this particular VM, Win10_Bob. So we have a couple of other machines as well, Alice, Dean, and Charlie. We'll use them later. These two are Linux CentOSs. For the time being, we are going to use the same Windows configuration. Now, to interact with that Windows machine, I have used RDP To access the machine easily, I have used RDP. You can see it here. Another way to differentiate between my laptop and this new computer right here is this is a Windows 10, like I mentioned. The other one is Windows 11. So the bottom taskbar is black with Cortana and everything, just in case you are getting confused, because I will be switching back and forth between these machines when we start analyzing what's going on. And I have all the tools installed inside this machine, including Python, Visual Studio Code, and things like that. And this is our server running inside the machine. This is our server running inside. And this is the IP address change, corresponding IP address change, which I have made in the server. And server is going to run on this server, this particular Windows machine, instead of localhost. Now we will explain what this is about. So this 0.0.0.0, and the port is not different. It's all same. Everything except this one particular number or one particular string, everything remains same in the server code. So I'm going to minimize this RDP session. You don't have to use RDP. You can directly get into the console, but I like RDP because it's slightly faster when I access locally. Now, going to the setting of this virtual machine, if I go to network, I see a bridge adapter. This is the configuration. If you want to see anything here, you can have a look. And this is all default. And this is the bridge adapter. We will get into all these options in later sessions, but for the time being, I'm just explaining what setup I'm having in case if you are doing this demo. Now, regarding the network of this client and server, both the client and server is connected to the iPhone. The IP address and the rest of the details are coming from the iPhone. So to know that, type the command ipconfig, and this is the IP address of this laptop, which is the client. And if you type the same command in the server, I get this 172.20.10.6. It is also displayed here because that is the IP address we have connected to using RDP. So 3, the number ending with 3 is the client, and the number ending with 6 is the server. So don't get confused. 172.20.10.3 is the client, and this is the server. To conclude, we have seen multi-system setup. Now let's explore the details of it. We have not seen any details. So let's explore the details and collect more data.